So the heart wants what the heart wants, right? Well, let's stick with the first part of it. The heart wants. Exodus chapter 35. Stick with me. We got a little bit of a passage here.
Moses spoke to all the congregation of the sons of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord has commanded, saying, Take from among you a contribution to the Lord. Whoever is of a willing heart is to bring it as the Lord's contribution.
A willing heart.
Gold, silver, and bronze. Then all the congregation of the sons of Israel departed from Moses' presence, and everyone whose heart stirred him, and everyone whose spirit moved him,
Whose heart stirred him.
came and brought the Lord's contribution for the work of the tent of meeting, and for all its service, and for the holy garments. Then all whose hearts moved them, both men and women,
All whose hearts moved them.
came and brought brooches and earrings and signet rings and bracelets, all articles of gold. So did everyone who presented an offering of gold to the Lord. The Israelites, all the men and women whose heart moved them to bring material for all the work
Whose heart moved them.
which the Lord had commanded through Moses to be done, brought a voluntary offering to the Lord.
It's all about the heart.
It's all
about the heart. So take a look at some things here just to give it a little bit of a synopsis. Okay, they're in the wilderness. They've come out of Egypt, and they are giving to a God-honoring vision. Okay, this is a vision of something none of them have ever seen. Their families had never seen it. Their ancestors, they're leaving after 400 plus years in Egyptian bondage, and they're now in a wilderness period, and they're giving toward a temporary structure, a system with the tabernacle that is portable. It's not going to be the final temple, but they're giving to it with such generosity, even in this extended transitional season. Mm-hmm. It's a new journey. None of them have been on it before. And they're giving to a cause that is transcendent. Because they see, you know what, if this is important to God and it represents how we are going to be able to meet with God and see Him minister to one another, it goes above and beyond our survival and the Egyptian overseers. So their giving here was to a God-honoring vision. In this particular case, they're struggling. Okay, they're living in the wilderness, literally, and will be for 40 years. And yet when they were presented with a reality that was bigger, they're like, you know what, let's just do it.
And remember, what they had is what they plundered from the Egyptians when they left. So God had given it to them in the first place.
Absolutely. And so here's the deal. You know, on a minuscule scale in comparison to the Exodus of Israel, when you think of even what we're endeavoring to do in Monarchs Church, a far more humble endeavor. We are in a digital wilderness period with a vision of growing an online community. We want those to believe in Jesus and to belong to God's family and to become their best, specifically getting better together, even in this context, and to build the future, which is a God-honoring future in every aspect of life. And an online church community that reaches not only our home base of Monterey Bay area here in Monterey County, but also looks forward to adding in-person gatherings locally and in micro campuses elsewhere. And every time that you give kingdom-wise, at least in this context, that's the vision you're giving to. And I like what Israel was able to do, because grateful and willing hearts can become a contagious generosity. Okay, which lets us see and build the future expression of God's kingdom that He desires and inspires. And again, I share all that as far as, look, I salute you, and I just want to applaud every single one of you who has given to that vision. Because even though the COVID disruption and everything else may feel like a bit of a digital wilderness, that did not stop individuals from having grateful and willing hearts. And for that, I appreciate it. Take a look at what else happened here in Exodus 36. It's pretty cool.
Then Moses called Bezalel, Oholiab.
Here's some kids' names for you if you know somebody who's going to have a gender reveal party.
And every skillful person in whom the Lord had put skill, everyone whose heart stirred him. To come to the work to perform it. They received from Moses every contribution which the sons of Israel had brought to perform the work. And they said to Moses, the people are bringing much more than enough for the construction work which the Lord commanded us to perform.
Is that cool or what? I don't know of how many.
I love this. I love this passage. I was hoping you had this verse included.
I don't know how many times anybody who has been.
Have you ever had church leadership come to you and say,
raising kingdom funds that they said, hey, look, you got to stop these people. We got more than enough.
We have more than enough.
But notice, it was never about guilt. It was always about the heart. It was a willing heart. It was a heart that was stirred. It was like, you know what? can I just be honest? And I think you'll see sort of maybe why I connected it. It's like, if we give $95 billion for catnip and dog chew toys, oh my word, what could we do to the honor of God, to the glory of God, to be able to really connect individuals with one another and with the gospel, with the word of God. And you look at that again, $1 trillion for Christmas, $14 billion for an election that it's over, and so forth.
To manipulate your minds.
Okay.
Well, here's some of that.
Moving right along. Here's the deal. When grateful hearts are moved, okay, to fulfill the vision of God's heart, because the vision of the tabernacle came from God.
Right.
This was a portable church in the wilderness, and it wasn't much to look at. Badger skins and so forth. But it was God's vision for a season, yes, but a long season. And with this, we see that their generosity, with that willing heart, with that grateful heart that says, we're out of Egypt. And these were not perfect people. I mean, you read about them coming out of the wilderness, they had some issues. But it moves generosity and increases to extravagance. And that's the goal of true soul prosperity is, God, help me to be extravagant in my generosity. And not just money, time, effort, energy, attention, affection.